Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over a new Whisperer event that's going to be starting up. That's going to be part of the Blood and Whisperers like month-long celebrations effectively around Whisperers. There's been a lot of little side events popping up. This is going to be another little one that's going to last a week long, and this is going to be based around getting your choice of either Doomsday tokens or the masks basically from rewards. You get to choose which ones you want to go for here. This is basically another option of what you're going to be able to use with your heads on a spike energy. There is also going to be a reveal of the Whisperer exclusive weapon that you can get if you do take 4 grade 5 Whisperer characters onto that event. This is just a sneak peek of that. More information should be revealed on that next week. But we'll get into the basic information on this one, and the event is called Warefare, and it is also revealing the Whisperer's exclusive weapon here. The Whisperers continue their never-ending warfare with the Blood and Whispers event. The event times are as follows. It starts on the 1st of October at 12 PM Pacific time, and it ends on the 8th of October at 12 PM Pacific time. Reading through the event overview, it says the limited time Warfare roadmap is unlocked after you've completed the Blood roadmap and will drop Walker Eyes from running stages and as rewards. You'll use heads on spikes as energy, but you're going to want to save up. The stages take more heads on spikes for each stage, but they will also have a chance to drop more Walker Eyes as you progress through and rerun the roadmap. The more heads on spikes you use, the more Walker Eyes you will get along the way. Walker Eyes will be used to exchange for 2 new chance bags available in the Whisper Grey Market. After you've collected 200 Walker Eyes, you can choose between a Doomsday token bag or a broken Whisperer mask bag, which both drop varying amounts of their rewards. Once you have enough heads on spikes, you can rerun the roadmap over and over to farm Walker Eyes and get more chances at broken Whisperer masks or Doomsday tokens from those bags. It does say that the Whisperer Warfare roadmap will be the final place to use heads on the spikes during the Blood and Whisperers event. This is after the Doomsday roadmap ends. You'll also have the Whispers roadmap to do if you so wish. It can be based on whichever one you think is more worthwhile with your energy. There is also, like I said, a little bit of a sneak peek, another event that's going to be coming soon. In addition to this roadmap, the final mini event for the month-long Blood and Whispers campaign, United Suffering, is on the way in early October, and we want to make sure you are all fully prepared. We mentioned previously an exclusive 5-star weapon, and we're happy to share with you the first ever Allegiance-specific 5-star weapon, Alpha's Savage Dirty Machete. And this is the weapon in all its glory. Visually, it does look amazing on the left-hand side, but we'll get into that in just a second. We'll check out the stats, however. 30 crit on the weapon, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and here's where the special part of this weapon comes in. Whisperer's Allegiance bonus. All Whisperers receive 60 crit and 15% AP at the beginning of each wave. The last slot is a unique special that it doesn't exist in the game. Heal reduction on crit. When dealing a critical hit, give that enemy 50% heal reduction for 1 turn. Now, I personally don't think this weapon is that amazing, because you have to use Whisperers to get the best out of that 3rd slot, and most of the time you're maybe going to use 1, maybe 2, and the 4th slot isn't that great either. There are some people with passives that have better heal reduction, I believe, or like very close to the same sort of heal reduction. So it isn't amazing, but it's okay. A lot of raids are going to be about speed, and this is more about strategy. So I kind of feel that this could be used in PvE down the road if there is something that comes out where you have to use Whisperer Allegiance on a roadmap. I think this weapon is going to be great on that. But if you don't have to use 4 or 5 Whisperers on a team, you're most likely going to use a better weapon than this in Lydia's hands or in Alpha's hands, who are pretty much the standout Whisperers. But like I said, visually it does look great. However, the downside of it is every single one of the Whisperer characters who are fast have an attached weapon, so you won't actually see this in their hands. So it's a little bit of a letdown there. You could probably put in Rosita's hands and you'd see what it looks like, but you're not going to get the buff from this for Rosita herself. So like I say, it's kind of strange, but it is worthwhile going for, just for the nice looking weapon for sure. It isn't nice that it's got crit on it either, because crit isn't that great on weapons, as we know. It's better to go for attack percentage, and if you swap out the crit for attack percentage, unfortunately the best weapon score you're going to get to is 630 and not the 650 to make it go nice dark blue in the background. It would have been much nicer if it had 35 crit on the first slot and 35 attack percentage on the second slot, so you could choose which of those two stats you wanted and replace the other one with huge bonus on attack, or you could keep both of them for characters like Rosita who could take advantage of having both of those things. So yeah, it's a shame, but I think it is kind of interesting, and it does open the doors with regards to allegiance style buffs on weapons in the future. I think that has actually got pretty good potential if used well. It does finish off by saying this is a first of its kind weapon that will give buffs specifically to the Whisperer's Allegiance. You will need 4 of the Whisperer's Allegiance fighters at grade 5 to be able to fight for this weapon in the final piece of the Blood and Whispers event, coming in early October, so keep an eye out for more info as we get closer. Now, I will probably say this is going to be a one-off weapon as well. They're most likely not going to rerun this again unless you get a token from this roadmap and the token is redeemed in the museum to get the weapon. You know, kind of how it's done with Mythic Trials, so you can't get the same character over and over and over again. So if it is the reward from the roadmap and it is actually just straight away a reward, it's going to be probably the only chance you've ever got to get the weapon. If you are someone who's like a collector, or you kind of see potential for this weapon in certain scenarios, like I do see a very, very small potential for this weapon in certain scenarios, but I'm mainly going to do it for collection bonus as well, because yeah, it's kind of cool. Now, there is some information on the actual Warfare roadmap itself, and you can see that each stage you can only take mythic fighters. It does cost heads on a spike, and it shows the energy cost, and every stage will reward 200 Walker Eyes, but also they'll have a dropped amount as well. And apparently for each stage, based on the energy cost, the dropped amount will be bigger. So if it's more energy cost, it should drop more. And you can see it does go up to quite a high energy cost. It goes 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, and then 200. There are 6 stages, so it rewards 1200 Walker Eyes from completing all of those stages, but then obviously you get the bonus of 400 at the end to get 1600, and that does mean you'll be able to get 8 of those bags if you so wish, between Doomsday and the Mask bags. You can choose whichever one you want. Now, you could potentially decide to just do the first stage and get 200 Walker Eyes just to claim 1 bag, and then you could, you know, maybe do the second stage if you had some left over. It's completely up to you how you want to spend. You don't have to complete the entire thing here. It does seem like just doing 5 and 10 is very worth it in terms of the energy cost versus the 100 and 200 at the end. But it really heavily depends on a couple of things. The drop rate of the roadmap, what are the drop rates of the Walker Eyes, but also what are the odds and the amounts of the, you know, Doomsday tokens in the Doomsday bag and the masks in the mask bag. We'll have to wait and see once it's released, because there's no further information in the news post here. That's pretty much it. So we'll have to wait and see in game to see if it's worthwhile picking this up. So don't just rush straight into this with your heads on a spike. Just check the bags, check the odds on the bags if they have odds, and also sort of maybe wait for other people to go in first if they really want to go in first, to see what the kind of drop rate is going to be like. So the event looks actually pretty decent. You know, you're going to be able to get a choice, and I think having choices of roadmaps is nice. It does seem quite expensive, so like I said, we're going to have to see what it's like when it actually drops. I'm probably going to do the first 2 stages just because it seems worthwhile. 15 of the heads on a spike isn't that big a deal, but I'm prioritizing the Doomsday roadmap myself at the moment just because that's guaranteed, and it is kind of around the same price. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But the weapon, I'm a little bit disappointed in the weapon, I'll be honest. I'm still going to go for it, but I was really excited for the weapon. It's been quite a letdown. I'd say we've had some pretty average battle pass weapons in recent times, and it's worse than those, really. I think when you've got a weapon that is very specific to an allegiance, it has to be really good, because there can be certain allegiances where there's only 1 or 2, maybe 3 of those characters that are actually viable in a team. And if you look at the Whisperers, Beta's not going to be used anywhere. Skins, I mean, I guess, but yeah, I mean, you're going to have to, I don't know. It's very strange. I guess you could have skins with the weapon on the side and Alpha and Lydia in the same team, but that team's going to be slower than another team I can build. You know, that's the issue. So I think it's going to be good for like anything out in the future that's strategy based, because as we know, war doesn't have much strategy to it. It's about winning as quickly as possible, not about like maneuvering around things. It's about just blitzing through it. Whereas things like Conquest and potentially Challenge Run in the future could be a much more strategy based, and that's where this weapon could be cool, because you've got 3 of those fast characters in Whisperers. You've got Skins, Lydia, and Alpha, who are fast characters on Challenge Run, so that could work in that scenario. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But give me your thoughts on the Warfare event. What do you think about the weapon? Are you gonna go all out to try and get that weapon? Are you just going to get it if you can? I'm probably still going to try and get it, like, quite heavily, but I'm not going to kill myself for it. I was hoping for a bit of a better weapon, but that's the way it is. That is the end of my video though, guys. Do leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.